Before we start, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's jump into the top 6 anime that hook you from episode 1. Starting off at number 6, we have a cult classic that doesn't just grab your attention, it slaps you with it, bloodied and traumatized. Elfen Lied. First aired in 2004, this anime wastes no time. The very first scene, a girl, completely naked, walking calmly through a high-security lab, as limbs fly and heads explode around her. That's Lucy, a Diclonius, mutant, murderer, maybe victim. Within just minutes, we witness a massacre so graphic and surreal that it instantly sets the tone. This is not your average anime. No exposition, no slow build, just silent carnage, classical music, and a girl whose expression doesn't change as she tears people apart like paper. And then, the twist. She's shot in the head, falls into the ocean, and washes ashore with amnesia, transforming into a helpless, childlike version of herself who can only say one word. New. It's such a violent contrast. It feels like whiplash, but that's Elfen Lied's secret weapon. It seduces you with horror, then throws in moments of vulnerability that make you question who the real monster is. The first episode alone throws you into a world of government conspiracies, identity trauma, and psychic dismemberment. And it dares you to look away. You won't. Trust me. From the haunting intro music to the final frame, Elfen Lied makes a promise. This story will be brutal, emotional, and utterly unforgettable. Coming up next, an anime that turns a cute orphanage into your worst nightmare. At number 5, we enter what looks like a heartwarming tale of childhood and friendship, until the rug is pulled hard from under you. The Promised Neverland. The first episode lulls you in with soft colors, warm lighting, and cheerful children living in a cozy orphanage. They play, study, laugh. It feels like a Studio Ghibli setup. Innocent, safe. Then, night falls. When little Connie, one of the orphans, forgets her stuffed bunny, 2 of the older kids sneak out to return it. What they find? A truck, a cold metallic container, and inside, her lifeless body. But that's not the worst part. Hiding nearby, they witness the real caretakers of this place. Monstrous, otherworldly creatures collecting the children's bodies like cattle for slaughter. That's when it hits. This isn't an orphanage. It's a farm, and they're the product. The horror doesn't scream at you. It whispers. It creeps in under your skin. Because the scariest thing about the reveal is how perfect everything seemed. In just one episode, the show flips from sweet slice of life to psychological thriller. And suddenly, every smile, every game, every bedtime lullaby feels like a lie. The best part? It's not just shock value. The story dives into strategy, tension, and mind games, with kids forced to outthink adults, monsters, and a system designed to keep them ignorant and obedient. From that very first episode, escape isn't optional. It's survival. And once you hear Mama hum that lullaby again, it'll never sound comforting. Next up, an anime that starts with a chainsaw to the chest. Literally. Coming in at number 4, we have a show that opens with poverty, heartbreak, and a chainsaw-powered demon dog, Chainsaw Man. From the very first shot, you feel it. This world is grimy, bloody, and unforgiving. We meet Denji, a broke teenager drowning in debt, selling organs to survive. One eye? Gone. Kidney? Gone. Dreams? Barely holding on. But he's not alone. He's got Pochita, the cutest chainsaw demon you'll ever meet. They hunt devils together just to make enough money to eat toast. Not steak, not sushi. Toast. Then, it all goes to hell. Literally. Denji is betrayed, ambushed, and slaughtered by a Yakuza-turned zombie horde. Limbs torn, blood everywhere. It's a hopeless, gory end. But Pochita has other plans. In one of the rawest emotional moments in modern anime, Pochita sacrifices himself, fusing with Denji to give him a second chance. As something new. Something terrifying. Denji rises, yanks the ripcord on his chest, and becomes Chainsaw Man. Heads fly. Blood rains. And that moment when he revs up for the first time, pure, chaotic catharsis. What makes this pilot episode unforgettable isn't just the violence, it's the emotion underneath. Denji isn't fighting for justice or revenge, he just wants a better life. A hug, maybe jam on his toast. And somehow, that hits harder than any shounen "I'll protect my friends" speech. It's a premiere that throws you into a blender of action, sadness, and absurdity. And you come out wondering what the hell you just watched, and how fast you can watch more. Chainsaw Man doesn't ask for your attention, it demands it, with a roar of engines and a fountain of gore. Next, an anime that literally opens with a curse, and a fistfight with a demon in a school hallway. Slicing its way into number 3 is one of the most explosive shonen debuts in recent years. Jujutsu Kaisen. You want action, mystery, curses? How about all 3? Cranked up to 11 in just one episode. We meet Yuji Itadori, your classic overpowered but humble teenager. Except instead of training to be a hero, he's chilling in the occult club and breaking shot-put records like they're nothing. Then, the cursed object shows up. Unsealing that ancient finger? Terrible idea. Because what follows is an all-out supernatural nightmare. Monsters manifesting from shadows, school hallways warping into death traps, friends screaming, and Yuji caught right in the middle. But here's where it gets interesting. He doesn't run. He fights, desperately, brutally, with no powers, no training, just raw instinct and resolve. And when he realizes there's no other way to save his friends, he does the unthinkable. He eats the cursed object. Yes, Mike swallows a rotting demon finger on the spot. Suddenly, his body is possessed by one of the most feared curses in existence, Ryomen Sukuna, a smirking, sadistic force of destruction. And yet, Yuji resists, takes control. Barely. The episode ends with Gojo, the blindfolded sorcerer icon himself, showing up to face off with Sukuna Yuji in a clash of titans. And just like that, you're locked in. Jujutsu Kaisen's first episode is a masterclass in pacing. It gives you time to care about Yuji's life and his dying grandfather's words, right before it rips that life apart and hurls him into a world of curses, exorcists, and impossible choices. From breathtaking fight choreography to razor-sharp humor and a splash of horror, this premiere proves it's not here to play safe. It's here to punch you in the soul and leave a cursed fingerprint. Next on the list, a high school student finds a notebook and becomes a god of death by episode's end. Sliding into number 2 is the anime that made writing names in a notebook feel like a weapon of mass destruction. Death Note. The first episode doesn't just hook you, it wraps a chain around your brain and pulls you into the abyss of moral ambiguity. We open with Light Yagami, a straight-A student, genius-level intellect, completely bored with the world. He finds a black notebook on the ground with a simple, chilling promise. The human whose name is written in this notebook shall die. Naturally, he thinks it's a joke, until it's not. Light tests the death note, writes a name. Seconds later, a criminal drops dead of a heart attack on live TV. That's the moment everything changes. There's no build-up, no filler, just the sound of a pen scratching on paper, and a heartbeat stopping. Enter Ryuk, the Shinigami who dropped the notebook. A towering, apple-loving death god who floats in with a grin and a shrug, casually explaining the rules like it's no big deal. And Light? He doesn't flinch. In fact, he smiles. By the end of episode 1, he's not just using the death note. He's already planning to reshape the world in his image. No hesitation, no fear, just pure, calculated ambition. I will become the god of the new world. That line, that moment, that look in his eyes, you realize you're not watching a hero's journey. You're witnessing a villain's rise from day one. Death Note's pilot is one of the greatest tone setters in anime history. Minimal action, but maximum tension. It turns a teenager doing homework into something terrifyingly compelling. And once Light starts writing, you can't stop watching. Coming up next, the anime that redefined FirstEpisodes forever. Giant walls, giant titans, and one giant tragedy. Taking the number 1 spot is the anime that didn't just hook viewers. It traumatized an entire generation from the first episode alone. Attack on Titan. It starts quietly, peaceful. The birds are chirping. Children laugh. The walled city of Shiganshina goes about its day like nothing could ever go wrong. Then, the sky goes dark. A flash of lightning, a cloud of steam, and suddenly, towering over the wall, a colossal titan, muscles exposed, face emotionless, kicks down the last barrier between humanity and extinction. The horror hits immediately. Titans flood in, buildings collapse, families are ripped apart, literally. Blood sprays, screams echo, chaos reigns. But it's one scene that seals this episode in anime history. Eren Yeager, hiding with his sister Mikasa, watches helplessly as a Titan grabs his mother. She's pinned, her legs crushed. She begs them to run, and as they do, the Titan lifts her like a rag doll and bites her in half. No Shounen power-up, no last-minute rescue, just trauma and silence. That's when you realize this isn't about saving the world. It's about surviving it. Attack on Titan's first episode delivers despair with surgical precision. It doesn't just start a story, it drops you into a nightmare with no escape. The animation? Gorgeous and brutal. The music? Haunting. The world? Deep, dark, and merciless. And the promise is clear. No one is safe. Not your favorite characters, not the children, not even your sense of hope. From that final scream to the closing credits, you're not just watching an anime, you're experiencing a shockwave. And the only way to process it? Clicking next episode without hesitation. Your turn. What anime hooked you from episode 1? Drop it in the comments. We might feature it. If you're into countdowns, dark twists, and anime breakdowns, subscribe and hit the bell. This is Nonagon. See you next time.